Earlier today, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected affirmative action for both private and public colleges that utilize race as a factor in admission decisions. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court believes it's a violation of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Now, shortly after the decision, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote, "A benefit to a student who overcame racial discrimination, for example, must be tied to that student's courage and determination." In other words, they want you to write a whole essay and explain how your life has been touched by racism instead of just saying, hey, just the assumption. Is this shocking, Al?
You know what? We can't say that we did not know that it was coming because we watched Trump stack the Supreme Court with right-wing conservatives. And this is what you get. And this has been written about for the last 5 years of how they are going to reverse things that Barack and in this case, reverse the Supreme Court. For 45 years, they've always believed in affirmative action. So it's just sad to watch this. It's also sad, Claudia, because, 45 of the 50 flagship state universities all have Black student disparities where it's like 2 to 8% of their student populations are African American. This is only going to allow them to continue to do practice racial policies in order to keep us out of these higher education institutions. This simply is not good.
And I did see somewhere that it's not going to apply to the military, of course, because they still need our Black asses in the military on those front lines. Q, what do you think about this?
You know what? It's sad. It's sad. But I tell y'all all the time that in order for me to remain sane, I have to put mechanisms in place to safeguard my peace. And I know I'm oversimplifying things when I say this. Let them have it. Send your children to HBCUs. And I know some of y'all are saying, well, the HBCUs ain't got the funding, or some of the HBCUs don't have housing. With time, with increased enrollment, trust and believe they'll get it. We send a lot of our greatest and our brightest to these PWIs anyway. It's time we begin to stack our own institutions with our own talent. Let their ass have it. I know some of y'all gonna say, well, you know what if the HBCU don't offer the program that a person needs and some of these other schools are prestigious? I get all of that. But I think with time, our HBCUs will get there. Let them have it.
I can't agree with that, Q, because if we let them have this, do you know there would be immediately a 23% decrease in the acceptance and admission of people of color. That is how we get to the Harvards. That's how we get to the Yales. That's how we get to the Stanfords. That's how we get to the Princetons, so that when we matriculate out of there, we are able to be recruited to go to some of the top law firms, some of the top medical institutions, because they don't recruit at HBCUs. They don't recruit at the Howards. They don't recruit at the Hampton universities. They don't recruit at the Florida Memorial universities. So we got to protect this. This is pretty significant, and we've got to do better. And I can't wait to see how the Biden administration is going to address this in the next election.
The problem is it's not just schools, right? This is just the beginning. It starts here, right? And then what's next. And that's the problem. The fact that this was able to happen and now what's next. America has this nerve once again. If we were ready to go there where this wasn't an issue still, then that'd be one thing. But they want to prematurely act like we don't need this anymore. We've had a Black president, y'all. Y'all look good. Mm-hmm. It's not, there's no biases against y'all. It's such bullshit. And I need us to care more about local elections. We have allowed this to happen. 3 Supreme Court justices were brought in under Trump that did his bidding. And this is terrible. In the chat, RP said, this is what happens when we get comfortable and don't vote. Keita G says, not shocking, colleagues, and universities should still look at race. And Tanya from Vegas said, no, Q, we have to fight. They get to have everything. I'm with you, Al. Yeah, this is a sad day. To just watch our rights erode and the progress we've made in this country, to go backwards. This is what they say when they say "Make America Great." This is the buzzwords and the phrases. This is the dog whistles for the white supremacists.
Yeah.
And in conservative ass California, in liberal California, this happened already. And that's a liberal state. And they saw the acceptance rate of Blacks and Browns in colleges go down, plummet a significant amount. So that's California. That's liberal.
You know, a part of this story was the University of North Carolina, which is where I went to graduate school. And I was a Patricia Robert Harris Fellow there because there were no African Americans graduating from the graduate schools, like the medical school, the law school, the School of Psychology, the MBA school. Think about it. If I was not Black and didn't take advantage of affirmative action, I wouldn't have had all those damn jobs I've had.
The most ridiculous part of this is that rhymes with Spoon, Clarence Thomas, who 1000% benefited from this. You cannot say he did not. Yeah. And he's at the forefront of this. Like, he's loving it. He loves getting pat on the head by Massa. All right, y'all. Fuck him.